Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Hands on SAP Dev. This time with me, Q Macro DJ. That's me. I'm really happy to be here. Happy to have you. Thanks for joining. Everyone's welcome. And this is part 3 of a little series that we're doing, as I'm sure you know. A little series that we're doing relating to messaging on SAP Cloud Platform. Specifically, of course, looking at facilities that the enterprise messaging service or set of services has to offer. We're exploring this in terms of our trial account, of course, which means that we've all got the ability to play around and do stuff together. There's a specific plan that's available for the trial account. I think the plan says it's deprecated, but it's still available and it's still relevant for us learning the fundamental concepts of what enterprise messaging is all about, which is sort of management of queues and topics and subscriptions and so on, and sending and receiving of messages in different formats. So howdy, Robert Dino. Robert Dino, welcome. Nice to see you. Not seen you for a while. Have I missed seeing you? I can't remember, but I've not seen you on the chat for a while, so welcome. I've got my coffee. I've got everything going for me. Let me know how the audio is. Hopefully it should be a little bit better than last time. I watched a video back from part 2 and I could hear the fan noise of this MacBook a little bit more than I wanted to, so I've put on some a noise suppression filter on this Yeti microphone here. This microphone on the Yeti microphone just there. In my streaming software, so hopefully that should be okay. Let me know, Robertino, how the audio is. I will let you know how this coffee is. It's really good. I'm going to switch to the main scene because there's a few things that I want to talk about, just to let you know. I think probably, in this news section, everybody is... thanks, Robertino. Audio is good. Thank you for letting me know. I think that most people will know about this already. We're doing this event called Devtoberfest, and it's in its first week. It's obviously the Friday, the 5th day of the first week. We're doing lots of enablement content. You can find it all here. This is the home page. Basically, this is the only thing you need to know. The only URL you need to know, which is the GitHub repo. Everything happens here. And at the moment, we're going through some workflow content. So we've got a series of exercises that you can do yourself. A little bit, this sort of code jam style exercises. If you've attended a CAP code jam with me or my colleagues in the past, it's that sort of approach. We've also recorded the exercises and they're available on YouTube, and today, for example, we're doing them as premiere, so I can join and other colleagues of mine can join and answer questions and talk to you while we're watching it. So basically today we've got the last 2 exercises for SAP Cloud Platform Workflow, exercise 9 and exercise 10. They're premiering at 11 and 11:30, basically 2 half-hour slots together. So there we go. How about it? So let me put the link to there as well. You'll see that little temporary upcoming playlist there, just to make it easier for you to all find things. Do we need that again? No. There we go. And I think that's pretty much it in terms of what I wanted to cover news-wise, because I want to jump straight into where we left off last time. Well, actually, one of you in part 1 or part 2, I can't remember who it was, asked a really good question, which was the scripts that we're writing right now in our exploration, in our deep diving into the messaging and management APIs, as in the messaging and management APIs of SAP Cloud Platform Enterprise Messaging, right? We're writing some scripts in our discovery, and the question was, good morning, Tim. Good morning, Tim. And the question was, can I share those scripts? And the answer is yes. So I've gone through the process of requesting a repo, and I've got now a repo on SAP samples. So basically, this repo, cloud-messaging-handsonsapdev, is ours for this particular little series. So what I've done is pour in what we've had so far. So as you probably remember from parts 1 and part 2, if you've seen parts 1 and part 2. Shad, good morning, Shad. Welcome. Nice to see you. Great to have you on board. And Samuele, good morning. Good morning, Samuele. Samuele of the hawk eyes, noticing all the different orders of messages coming back down the webhooks. Pretty awesome. And Pierre, bonjour, ça va? Very good. Oh dear, I did know some more French, but anyway. Welcome. Bienvenue, as they say. Yes, anyway, come on, DJ, concentrate. So I've poured the scripts into here. So please, please, please start the repository, fork it, start messing around with it. This is purely really for our diving into messaging on SAP Cloud Platform series. So the local utils, for example, we'll see those in the terminal shortly. That's all in there. I've just piled it all in so you can play with it yourself. And since last Friday as well, I've just added a little bit, a tiny bit, because I don't want to add anything without you. All I've added effectively is this bash completion, and I'll show you that shortly. I think in part 1, maybe it was in part 2, I can't remember. I showed you, in fact, let's go here. Let me know if the font's big enough. Javier, good morning, greetings to Barcelona, one of my favorite cities. Good morning. What we did, if we have a look at the services, we've got this emdev service. In fact, let's have a quick look at ourselves. Just to remind ourselves of where we left off last time, we've got the emdev instance of the enterprise messaging service. We've got the dashboard here, which we can open with this button. And we've also got an application called webhook, which we're using to sort of to receive the messages, right? Since last Friday, I've sort of destroyed and recreated my trial account. So actually the webhook app URL, it was something, I can't remember what it was actually, something ending in KY, Kentucky, but now it's kind otter QT. So that's it, I've recreated everything to be where we left off last Friday. So one of the things was, for example, you can say service, CF service, emdev, and have a look at the details. And then we said, oh yeah, it's really cool. We can find there's a dashboard URL, and we did that. So I encoded that into this open dashboard thing. This is what we did, just so we've, I'm sharing everything that we've done so you can play with it yourself. So we can say here, for example, open dashboard, and that will do exactly what we did in the previous episode. So there we go. So that's that. So basically where I am here is in this very repo. Okay, so git status, it's all good. And this is what we've got. So we've got the webhook in there as well. As you can see, we've got the webhook little JavaScript, Node.js JavaScript based thing. Okay, and that's with our extra bits where we had the console logging out the path, because we changed that to a regular expression, and we put it there as well. So yeah, that's what we've got. So I think we're ready to start, aren't we? Just to remind ourselves as well, I'll stop flipping back and forth in a minute. Here's our messaging administration. Here's our dashboard. It's there as well. So we've got a queue. We left off with a queue, hands-on, with no messages in it, because we've also got a webhook subscription to that queue called webhook 1, which we created, and it's active, it's not paused, right? And so that's where we left off. And where we were going with that was in the direction of, well, how would we send some messages and have those messages distributed to more than one receiver? Okay, and we started off along the path that I was saying, I know this is not going to work, but we want to explore it anyway, and then start looking at the stuff, start looking at the approach that is the right approach. And that was to say, well, if we've got, in fact, let's look. Where are we? Messaging. Let's look in the messaging thing here. We can say list webhook subscriptions. There we go. So the webhook subscription, we could possibly create 2 webhook subscriptions to the hands-on queue. Okay. So why don't we do that? I'll go back to the terminal now. We got a single webhook subscription to the hands-on queue. Okay. And so why don't we create a webhook 2 subscription to the hands-on queue, send some messages to the hands-on queue and see if they go to both, if all the messages go to both webhook endpoints. Okay. The answer basically is no, but let's just see it with our own eyes first. The difference between where we left off on Friday and what I've done since then, just to this script, was just to make it a little bit more easy, a little bit easier to invoke. So we've got our list webhook subscription function here, and we've also got our create webhook subscription, which we did last Friday, and that also uses a build payload webhook subscription little helper that uses YQ to take some YAML with the payload that we need to create the webhook subscription. Remember that was in the documentation here. If we have a look, hands-on SAP Dev, messaging APIs, messaging. Okay, so let's open the messaging thing. Here it is. Webhook subscription. Oh, there we go. There, create subscription, and we had to send a payload that looked like this to create that webhook 1 subscription to the hands-on queue. Okay. So we'll do another one. Okay. So we've got that. We've got the payload. We've got the endpoint. That's fine. So now all I've done is I've said basically here's a list of functions. Okay, so all the functions we've got, list webhook subscriptions and create, and we're going to add some more functions. What's wrong with it again with my teeth? More functions to this script. And we'll list them in here, and I'm using that in a what's it called? Messaging.completion script that I'll explain maybe another time, that allows us to do some completion, and then we can actually type in messaging, and we can actually type in the command we want and then run it. So I'll show you what I mean. If I say, for example, messaging tab, we can see create webhook subscription or list webhook subscription. So let's do a list webhook subscription, and there it is. So let's create a second one now. Okay. Are we all okay in doing this? I'm just going to pause and have a little bit of a bite of this biscuit while I see if anybody's got any comments or anything to add to the chat. Is this the direction we want to go in? So what we'll do is, in fact, what I wanted to show you was the fact that I've just noticed when we do the tab completion, the command completion, the bash completion for the functions in the messaging script, there is this perceptible delay when hitting tab. And I've had a quick look this morning. I just noticed this morning, and it's caused by the fact that, well, let's have a look, and let's fix that now because it'll be a lot more convenient for us. If we look at the messaging script, if we hit tab, basically what's happening is that the bash completion is asking this script, if we run the messaging like that, or messaging functions, it will give us the list of, oh, is it not, what is it called? BI messaging command, oh, completion, there we go. Yeah, if we say messaging completion, this is what the bash script for the command completion will call. It will list out those things, but there's a perceptible delay, and that's because we're doing all this stuff, retrieving the service key and retrieving and asking for an OAuth token before we do anything. So what I want to do is move that down here, because basically this bit really should be done before we run the command. Say now we can run the requested command. Okay, and we don't want to do this stuff, get the service key and retrieve the token, if all we're doing is listing out the functions. Okay, so let's have a quick look at that. If we now say messaging tab, there we go, that's faster. List, there we go, bang, quick, super quick. So we can do that. List webhook subscriptions. There we go. So git status, why don't we add that? Git commit add all messaging move sk and token retrieval fixes issue 1. Git push. There we go. That should, yeah, that issue is now closed automatically. Super GitHub, right? So we got that now. Cool. Okay, so that's really cool. So now messaging list webhook subscriptions. We got that. So let's add one. So we can say messaging create webhook subscription, and it should tell us, because I've added that as well. Oh yes, that's right. Yes, it should tell us that the subscription name is invalid because we've not specified anything yet. Okay. Jodel, good morning, greetings. Samuele, thank you, and you're welcome. You're welcome. Sometimes I do think, is this, is this too deep? Is this too detailed? So thank you, Samuele, for that encouragement. And by the way, if you're interested, of course, the messaging.completion there, and it tells you what to do if you want to do that yourself. Okay. But anyway. So of course, create webhook subscription. If we have a look at the requirement, of course, we need to specify something that can feed this payload. So, webhook subscription. God, it's 17 minutes past already. So messaging list web create web. Okay, so why don't we say here if name if is 0 or if the queue is 0 or if the endpoint 0 endpoint is 0, then I've got this function called error now, I think, in my local utils. There it is. There, you can see it down there. I've just added that as well. This is it's like log will log something out to standard out with a date and time. Error will just echo the error out to standard error. Okay, so it sort of splits things off. So let's do that. So we'll say here error usage create webhook subscription name queue endpoint, and then exit with a high return code. There we go. So that's nice. So we can do that now. If we have that again, it'll now should tell us. There we go. Usage create webhook subscription. So let's do one. In fact, let's just do a list webhook subscriptions. We want to call it webhook 2, don't we? So why don't we say messaging create webhook subscription webhook 2, right? The first thing is the name. The queue should be hands on, and the endpoint should be basically this thing, but with 2, right? Okay, seems good. So let's have a quick look at the list. There we go. So we've now got 2 webhook subscriptions to the hands-on queue. Let's just confirm that in the UI as well. Let's just turn on the auto refresh there. Oh, what a surprise! Browser's expired. go. There we go. So webhook, ignore this message. That's not right, that message. Webhook 1 and webhook 2, both subscribe to Hands-On, both active. Okay, so why don't we now... we've got some chat here. Javier, hi Jodel. I just want to greet things and thanks you for CDS in Node module at 7 Live. Fantastic. Javier, awesome that you're acknowledging that and saying thank you. Jodel, awesome that you're doing that. Oh, what a family. What a family of friends. Okay. So now, let's send some messages. But before we do that, of course, we want to start monitoring, don't we? So let's have another window here. CF logs, webhook. Let's have a look at the recent ones. Oh no, webhook. We'll grep for that little hand thing again. So we can see what happens. Now, let's go back over here again. We've got in here, have we got a queue? How did we do the messaging? I think we need to add, don't we? We need to add the we took it out, didn't we? How did we send the message before? Does anybody remember? Okay, well, I did have. Oh yes, that's right. Yes, I knew. That's right. I remember that we took it out, and just this morning, so I could bring it back because we've written this already together. Git diff messaging. Oh yes, git commit. Let's add that. Check for correct usage of create webhook subscription. There we go. Let's push that. So you've all got it as well. So that should all be in the repo right now. I've got this prep branch. Prep. Okay, that's right. So we can say git. Where are we? Git checkout master and git merge prep. That should give us, in our messaging, that should give us, there we go. Yes, I've added it. There we go. Publish message, and publish message to queue. Okay, so I've split it out. So this is what we've done this before, right? We split this out, and I've also added this sort of check as well. If the queue is empty, the queue name is empty, or the message is empty. So now we've got this publish message to queue function. So let's do that. So let's say messaging publish, and also notice I've now got command completion, and it'll tell me I can do 3 possible things now, and that's because I've added that to the list of functions here that are then sort of spat out if the messaging is called with completion. That will tell the completion what's possible. Okay, so if we can say now messaging publish message to queue, there we go, publish message to queue, name of the queue and the message itself. So if we say publish message to queue, the queue is hands-on, isn't it? And the message should be JSON. So let's just say greetings, hello. Okay, let's try that, see what happens. Publish message to queue, and there we go, we get it. Okay, we get it over on webhook 1. We didn't get it on webhook 2. Let's just send a whole load of them. For I in sequence 10, let's just do 10. There we go. Let's do that 10 times. Webhook 1, webhook 2, webhook 1, webhook 2. It's not predictable, is it? It's not. well defined, and sort of, again, you can understand that in this, almost like in the same context as when Samuela asked about, or pointed out, that the order of the messages that were sent was not defined. Also, I think it's fair to say that none of us should be surprised that the messages got sent to sort of different webhooks. So webhook 1 didn't get all 10 messages, got some of them. Webhook 2 didn't get all 10 messages, it got some of them. Okay, so that's not great, but it's okay to be not great, because that's not the way to do message fan out. Okay, so let's have a look at that concepts page to find out how we're supposed to do it. And it makes sense, right? Are we all still getting that? Am I confusing things, or are we okay? Concepts. Oh, hold on. What? This page has changed since last Friday. Concepts deprecated light service plan. I wonder if they've changed that one. But anyway, let's have a look. Queue subscription. It's great. It's great because they've addressed some of the things I've pointed out to them. Let's just have a quick look though. If this one is, oh, this has changed. Okay, that's changed as well. Okay, fine. But basically, if we want to have a fan out of messages, okay, I'm not sure that this diagram tells us what we want to look for. Topic into a queue. That's a shame. Okay. Okay, well, I'm not going to read through this right now. But basically, what we want to think about, maybe that concept, the new concepts page is explaining this, I've just not read it properly. What we want to think about is the fact that we have a concept of, and it's listed in here, I think, topic, queue subscription, topics. Okay, we have a concept of topics. And a topic is something we've sort of very, very briefly touched on, but not really talked about and not done anything manually with. Okay, so you can send a message to a queue, and that's what we've been doing. Okay, we've been sending messages to queues, and we've been attaching webhook subscriptions to those queues to have those messages sent to those endpoints. However, you can send a message not to a queue, but to a topic. If you don't have a queue attached to that topic, subscribed to that topic, it's a slightly unfortunate naming that we've got webhook subscriptions and queue subscriptions, which are very, very different. So let's just concentrate on this. Send a message to a topic. In order for that message to go somewhere, in order for that message to be consumed or to be sent on, you attach a queue to that topic. Okay, you can attach multiple queues to a topic, and that's what we're going to do now. So the general idea is that we're going to end up with, as well, we create another couple of queues. We'll keep the hands-on queue, and we'll create another couple of queues, and then we'll create some queue subscriptions. We don't have any of those around topics. So if we create a queue subscription here, we can see what queue and what's the topic. Okay, but let's do that. Let's do that through the API. Now, if we have a look here in the messaging API, that gives us the ability to publish messages to a queue, publish messages to a topic, okay, consume messages from a queue, acknowledge message, that's the sort of the the quality of service stuff, create a webhook subscription, okay, not a queue subscription, a webhook subscription. This is where it's confusing. So we've got to concentrate. List the webhook subscriptions, and also there's some acknowledgement here. Delete subscriptions, fine. And there's handshake request for webhooks. Remember that we had in our particular webhook subscription, we said the handshake status should be exempt. We can have handshake. We'll look at that in another episode later on. But there's no mention of being able to create a queue subscription in the messaging API. What we need for that is not the messaging API, but the management API. Okay, the management API is more like the, in my mind, I've got it in my head that I'm thinking of the management API to create things that are more solid and stable, as in queues and topic subscriptions and so on. Whereas the messaging API is more about the actual messaging. Okay, makes a little bit of sense in my mind, at least. Okay, so in the management API, okay, management here, we can, for example, create queues, create and update queues, which we've done already. Remember, we've done, let's just get rid of that and get rid of that. If we have a look here, we used the management API to set up a queue. Okay, we set up a queue using hub rest messaging queues queue put. Okay, we did the put to create a queue, and then we did a get to list the queues. Okay, these are the queues. In the same way, and that was this thing here, create update queue, right? Put, that's exactly what we did there. In the same API, in the management API, we can also create or update a queue subscription. Okay, so why don't we do that now? Create a queue subscription. Well, let's create a queue first, and then a queue subscription will subscribe that queue to a topic of our choosing. Okay. Again, the question goes to you in the chat directly. Please let me know directly in the chat. Shall we do this through the API, or shall we do this sort of through the messaging administration dashboard? Let me know. I'm gonna have a drink. Let me know. In the meantime, I'm just going to go to the repo there. Let me know in the chat. Do you want to do it the long way round, the detailed way round, or do you want to do it the quick way with the dashboard? Oh, there we go. Yes, perfect. Okay. I know there's a bit of a delay in terms of the live stream and everything. It's about 20 seconds. So please, somebody let me know. If not, I'm going to default to using the API, okay? Because we'll learn more, right? We'll learn more. So let's do it through the API. So what we're going to do is we want to create another couple of queues, okay? So we've got our auto update turned on now. So let's create another couple of queues. Let's use the existing mechanism to create these queues, but instead what we want really is we want something a little bit more like the management thing. 8:30. Yeah, we can do that. We got time. So why don't we start turning the queue set into a management script? Okay, and we've got the base in the same way, I think. Let's open that in over here. In the same way, we've got this sort of base path equals, and then we've got the base path of the management API. The base path is hub REST API v1 management messaging. So let's use the same pattern. Okay, so the base path is that. Okay, we'll keep the instance and the service name. Okay, fine, we'll do that, we'll do that, we'll do that. And what do we need to do to create a queue? Well, we already know because we've already got the script there. So let's just go down here. Let's have a look. Get validate token. That's fine. So we'll just change things bit by bit. Okay, perfect, Samuel. That's good. That's good. So let's create. That's a really good point. Let's create a new queue. Queue name. Let's call the queue Q1. but we want 2 queues and 1 topic, don't we? So let's create another queue, Q2. And now let's create queue subscriptions. Okay, queue subscriptions. So we want for the queue. We want to refresh that. Come on, queue subscriptions. We've got the 2 queues, Q1 and Q2. Queue subscription, create. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Q1. We'll call that. What do we call that? Wow, what's the topic going to be? Let's call it topic. Let's call it hands-on SAP Dev. Hands-on SAP Dev. Right. Let's do that. Let's have it auto update as well, and let's also create for Q2 a subscription also to hands-on SAP Dev. Okay. So now we've got 2 queues, Q1 and Q2, and both of those queues are subscribed to the hands-on SAP Dev topic. Okay. Now we need to attach a webhook, so we can see the messages come out. We need to attach a webhook subscription to that. So why don't we add another webhook subscription? Again, using I like this. I like the idea somewhere that we can do the API. We'll catch up with the scripts later. Let's call this now webhook subscription. Let's call it W1, just slightly different to that one. To Q1. Oh, tell you what, Q1 webhook. There we go, Q1 webhook. And we're going to have in here, we're going to have this URL, aren't we? Q1 webhook. Okay, that's that. Have auto update as well. There we go. And let's create Q2 webhook to Q2, and let's call it Q2 webhook. No authentication. Oh wait, no, I forgot to turn off the handshake. There we go. Wait a minute. More haste, less speed. You see, Q2. Let's do that again. Q1 webhook to Q1. Quality of service, webhook URL is Q1. Exempt handshake, yes. Q2 webhook. Q2. That URL, Q2. Exempt, yes. Okay, so now they're active. Interesting, they were paused before because they were waiting for the handshake, which is really cool. We'll do handshakes another time. Okay, so we've now got a topic. I really need this on a whiteboard, don't I? We've got a topic, hands-on SAP Dev. We've got 2 queues connected, subscribed to that topic, Q1 and Q2. And then to those queues, we've got webhook subscriptions, okay? So we can actually drain the messages off. They're all going to the same, let's just do this here. That one, let's quit that one. They're all going to the same webhook, to the same endpoint, so we can see the differences, right? So now let's create some messages. Now the thing is, did you notice that I've got this function called publish message to queue? And this is what we did in a previous episode. Okay, we just used the queue name and the message to publish it to a queue. However, you can also publish messages to a topic. If we have a look at the API, but we want, of course, the messaging API now, publish messages to a topic. What we need is a topic name and just the same thing. Okay, so it's very, very similar. So why don't we now go back to here and just create another function, publish messages to topic, Local queue. We don't want queue, we want topic, don't we? Topic. Topic. Topic name and message, that's fine. Publish message to topic. Oh, target. There we go. Target. I think that's queue. Publish message to queue. I think probably. Yeah, that's okay. To queue. Oops. Queue. Yeah, that's better. That's correct. Well, let's not change that now anyway, right? Let's just change this, fix this one. Publish message to topic. Topic. I don't think we need the curly brackets either here. Queue, topic. There we go. And that should be right, shouldn't it? Okay, so we've now got a function called publish message to topic. Which will take a topic name and a message, check that the topic and message are not empty, give us an error if they are, either of them are, and publish message to topic. Okay, fine. Publish message. Oh, here we go. Publish message to publish message. Target. Oh, target type. Topic. There we go. Topics. Target type. There we go. Target type. Target type. That's right. Yes. I think that's right. Is that going to work? Publish message. Queues. Topic. Message. Okay. Let's try that, shall we? Messaging. We can now say publish message to topic. What was the topic name? Topic name was Q subscriptions, hands-on SAP dev. There we go. What a surprise. And the message should be, let's say it's going to be, I don't know, topic. Let's see what happens. Did you see what happened? Both the Q1 webhook and the Q2 webhook got that single message. Let's do that again. And let's try to do something for I in sequence 10 do done, but let's also put in here, I think, let's put that there. There we go. I think that's right. Yes. Let's do 10. Okay, let's do 10 messages. We've got the sequence number in the actual JSON. It works. It works. So this is the way we should be properly using the messaging mechanisms. If we want a single message to be sent to multiple recipients, we need to send that message to a topic and have Q subscriptions to that topic. So we've got a Q1 going to the topic. We've got a Q2 going to that same topic, hands-on. Let's just look at that in the thing here. We've got Q1 subscribe to that topic. We've got Q2 subscribe to that topic. And of course, in order to actually receive the messages themselves, from a messaging perspective, from a message receipt perspective, we've got these two webhook subscriptions that are subscribed to those two queues. Q1's webhook subscribe to Q1 and Q2 webhook subscribe to Q2. Wow. You know what? It's 8:44. And we've already got to where I wanted to get to just for this episode. I don't want to do too much. So why don't we use the remaining time? Samuel, that was a great suggestion. It's got us further. It's really good. Let's use the remaining time to sort of clean up what we've got, because I would definitely love it if you took advantage of, where is it? The repo here. Yes, so check for correct usage of create webhook subscription. There's a few more things to push. I can see there's got 2 things to push up there. Oh yeah, we've merged that branch and also that's fine. Okay, so now diff, in fact, let's do it in Vim. Vim. We've got the messaging. Okay, yeah. We've got the messaging. What did we? Oh, we added the publish message to topic. Okay, let's do that. Let's add that. Yes, and I think we want to do that. Yeah, publish message to topic. Git add messaging, git commit add publish message to topic function. But we also want to clean up. Oh, we also want to clean this other thing up, don't we? Because we don't need that queue like that. We need the queue, not the target. And we don't need these curly braces. Okay, I think that's good, isn't it? Publish message to queue, publish message to topic. Push them all. Okay. Oh, question. Since queues and apps are one-to-one, what's the use case of having multiple webhooks attached to a queue? Well, Shad, that's a great question. And basically, there isn't. That was, I guess, the sort what I was trying to explore with you, knowing that I mentioned this last week. Actually, I know you weren't here last week. Mentioning that this wasn't a path that made any sense to go down in reality, because there isn't a use case of having multiple webhooks attached to a queue, because it doesn't work. You know, there's no guarantee, there's no predictability in terms of the messages that go to that queue. They're only going to get sent to one webhook, and if you've got multiple webhooks, what we saw was this sort of unpredictable nature. However, as Samuel is pointing out, 2 backends. So Shad, I'm really glad you asked the question, because it's a great question. The real reason, if we step back and say, well, just rephrase your question, what is a use case for having multiple subscriptions to something, multiple recipients to a single message? If we translate that into multiple actors, multiple backends, as Samuel says, that want to know when a certain event happens. So let's say in an S/4HANA cloud system, then as you know, somebody creates a sales order, right? That will trigger an event and send a message to, if configured correctly and properly and explicitly, that can send a message to the message bus, to enterprise messaging. It will send a message to a topic. Okay, deliberately so, because it's basically saying in the same sort of pub sub way, publish subscribe, this has happened. I don't care, and I don't know, and I don't care who wants to know, but this event has happened. Do with it what you want, and then can go on with the rest of the business, right? S/4HANA Cloud. If you, as a back-end system, want to know when that sort of event happens and the details of that, then you create a queue and you subscribe that queue to the topic. And then you've got your own queue that you can then consume at your convenience and comfort those events, those messages. Okay, messages, events, in many ways, you can sort of use those terms interchangeably in this context. So to answer your question, Shad, and Samuele, your answer was for the second case. That's fine. Don't apologize, Samuele. This is all part of the same conversation. Multiple backend systems may be interested in the same single event. You might have, I don't know, what did I say? What was the example? A sales order created. So there might be a process that needs to get kicked off in a third-party system, for example, to go and schedule somebody to go and see that customer. I don't know, we're just making this up. And there may be some sort of analysis of that sales order that we want to kick off as well in SAP Analytics Cloud, for example, or something. There may be some custom apps that you've got that do other things with these sorts of events that happen, sales orders. You might want to go and read that sales order and grab the details and send it to something else or whatever, right? So there's definitely solid business reasons for wanting or being able to have multiple recipients for the same single event. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Shad? Cool. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Okay, it's 8:51. I think rather than start something new, let me know what you want to cover next, right? I've got a list here of things that I thought might be cool to cover. I'll read through them. We've got the basics, queues, webhooks, consumption via pull. We've got what we've been doing so far is connecting webhooks to queues. And when an active webhook, not a paused webhook, but when an active webhook is connected to a queue and a message hits that queue, then that message is sent to the webhook, right? This is what we've been seeing the whole time. But you can also not connect to webhook, but ask whenever you want. Give me messages. This is the pull idea, right? We've been using the push. I think it's described here, actually. If we have a look in here, where is it? Read, is it read? Get subscriptions, delete, post messaging, update state of a subscription. Oh yeah, we've also got it listed down here as well. We can pause and resume subscriptions with the API here. But also somewhere, I wish there was like an index here. Get messaging subscriptions, no. Come on. Acknowledge message consumption. So there's also quality of service that we could look into, right? We've got the quality of service where we set the QoS not to 0 but to 1, and we have to acknowledge the consumption of a given message so that the message count will go down. Here we go. Consume message from a queue. Consume it, not like wait for it to be given to us, but go and ask for one. Go and grab one. So we got that as well. We've got the quality of service. We've got consuming messages. We've covered today multiple consumers for messages on queues. Oh, webhook handshakes as well. Right? There's message handshakes. So there's all sorts of things we've still got to cover. I think we could cover a number of these small things in one episode. Then I want to move on to messaging in the context of cloud application programming model, okay, which is, what I had in my mind in the distance as to where to get to. And then let's see. So let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat here, in the next few minutes, but let me know in the comments to this video on YouTube, which of these things you would like to cover next. So let's leave it there. I will tidy up the rest of this stuff. And please let me know as well if you find this repo useful, if you have tried these things out, if you've got any, if you want to create a pull request and send some updates or improvements, if you've got a question, create an issue, just, let's see where this goes in terms of sharing code via a repo. I think it could be super powerful for us. So until then, by the way, next week I'm away. I'm away most of next week, actually. So I won't be able to do a hands-on SAP Dev episode on the Friday because I'm away. So it'll be in 2 weeks' time. I'll see you again. That's not to say that I won't see you shortly, because at 11 o'clock my time, in 2 hours from now, we've got the last 2 exercises of Devtoberfest's SAP Cloud Platform workflow. So I'll see you online on YouTube again shortly. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for watching. And yeah, I'll see you soon.